Hello, everybody. I am Jespin here on Fresh Sugar Show, and we're doing something a little bit new, something that I have been wanting to do actually for quite some time, and that is we are going to be watching some horror shorts on the good old U of Tube, and we are going to be reacting to them. I am a massive fan of Lovecraftian horror, Lovecraftian everything, the whole mythos, the whole eldritch being. It just tickles all the right parts of my brain. So we are going to be reacting to The Man from the Sea. And so I'm looking forward to this. Let's just get straight into it. Oh, wow. Okay. Love that logo. The Man from the Sea.
It was the summer of 1877. When I was stationed
cool.
a few miles out to sea at an old fort that was now being used as a treatment and recovery facility for the wounded. It was a quiet day, and I remember climbing to the south tower of our fort.
Hang on. Am I just going to have to put up with... Okay, I can move my mouse off screen. Fantastic. I love this art style, by the way. It's super, super cool. I'm really looking forward to seeing where this goes, because I'm already into this, to be quite frank with you.
The sun glistened each wave, and in that perfect painting, a peculiar figure emerged. I couldn't distinguish exactly what it was, but it seemed to be a man, walking towards the shore. The waves seemed to push him forward, but he was almost motionless to the impact, as if pushing back against the sea with each stride. He did not flinch, but rather the sea moved along with him. We sounded the alarm and rushed to the beach. As soon as his feet touched dry sand, we pointed our guns to him and shouted for him to stop moving.
Seems like a bad idea.
He stopped, looked around, and fell to his knees. The stranger was picked up and brought to our sick bay. A medical team soon followed to examine him. I was one of the first to take a closer look.
Okay, what did we find? Oh, Jesus Christ.
He did not utter a single word.
That is a sobering image. Yike. Okay, I am loving this. The way it's drawn. I can't wait to hear him described. I don't know if he's just drawn this way to, like, distinguish him as different, or if, like, this is how he actually... I love this so much.
And was intriguing, not only by appearance, but also smell. He had a sort of metallic charcoal air surrounding him.
Okay.
The most striking feature was a metal mask.
Oh, it's a mask!
Encasing his head completely. It appeared to be melted directly to the skull, to perfectly fit him up to his neck.
What?
His mouth and nose were covered by this thick metal plate, appearing as a single sheet molded to the subject's cranium. We couldn't understand how the subject was breathing. We couldn't identify a single point where the skin came loose. We checked his body for wounds or marks, anything that might help us understand what happened to the man. Our first thought was that he might have been a prisoner of war, tortured, maimed, and somehow he escaped his captors.
One of my favorite things about, like, Lovecraftian, like, the way it's written when it's written well, is just how far people will go to not believe the things that they're seeing. Like, and, like, honestly, that is how a lot of people, probably myself included, would react to, like, these kinds of things. Because, like, how do you... My kitten's playing with my headphones. How do you justify that? Like, how do you rationalize that in your head? That, like, you cannot tell where, like, this metal mask begins and his skin begins. Stop that. It's just... like, what do you do in that situation? How do you process that? And I think that's where we get to like the breaking point of like when you stop being able to rationalize and you kind of have to start thinking this could be something well beyond comprehension, that the fractures in psyche begin to truly form. Okay, I'm going to sit you down now. All right, I'm loving this.
While I was examining his mask, a nurse started cutting his robes from the back. Suddenly, she let out a horrifying scream. We turned around towards her. The nurse pushed herself back into a corner, gasping for air, then pointed at the man's back. What we saw that day was nothing but unholy. Pulsating orifices lined his spine.
Excuse me?
All the way down his back. I counted 12 of them before I had to throw up. After I pulled myself together, I went back in to take a closer look.
The hell's
These
happening?
holes were nothing we've ever seen before. They began directly on the surface of the skin and had a small cilia attached to the interior walls, ending in fleshy membranes. These gaps went further into the body, as if there was no rib cage or other organs. His skin was pale and translucent, with little to no hair covering it. His fingers abnormally large, while his height and overall bone structure was that of an average human man.
What the hell?
The lungs needed further examination. As for how his breathing apparatus worked, it remained to be investigated. The nurse administered a heavy dose of anesthesia, while a few soldiers grabbed a bone saw, a chisel, and started working around the metal plating. It was a slow, exhausting process.
So, this is what I'm not getting. They know that this is not like a normal person. There's holes up his spine. They have no idea how this person's breathing. And their first thought is, yeah, let's get this metal mask off. Like, at this point, walk away. Walk away. Dink, stop it. Like, don't continue investigating. Walk the hell away. This is so clearly beyond you. Human curiosity, sure, but walk away. You cannot find anything good here. Like, what?
With only millimeters of progress done by the hour, we took turns, with each one chiseling just enough until we heard a crack. The mask split in two. The opening wasn't showing any skin, but rather contrasted the dark gray metal to the pitch black behind it. I grabbed a nipper and gently tried pulling it apart. It moved. Then I heard a faint, muffled, screeching sound. It was coming from the patient's back. He was responding to the pain. The nurse grabbed another vial of anesthetics, but I told her to stop. I wanted to see his reaction.
Why?
2 other doctors grabbed the other side of the mask, and we started pulling harder. The orifices began gulping air violently.
What are you doing?
A strong pull from one of the doctors ripped a chunk of metal from the mask. We moved in closer to inspect the man's face. Looking down on it, I felt my knees give away. In that small opening was nothing but evil. What appeared to be was a nest of snakes, curled up, slithering, living inside that space. The same shrieking sound came back again. This time it sounded within the whole fort. We took a step back. The patient lifted his body from the operating table. His eyes rolled back into his head, showing nothing but black concrete spheres.
Wait, eyes? What eyes? What eyes? What eyes are we seeing? There's no eyes. You just said there's nothing but like slithering snakes, which are clearly tentacles, but like... Also, what the fudge? What is this? Holy crap, I'm loving this so much. I guess he was like breathing out of the holes in his, or in its back. I guess I guess I should say. This is insanely good. Okay.
With both his arms, he grabbed his mask and started pulling it apart,
Okay.
ripping chunks of metal, revealing more and more of the pulsating mass of serpentine bodies. I pushed the chamber doors open to alert the others that I felt something grabbing onto my left foot.
What
I turned to see a
the hell?
disfigured corpse, dressed in its soldier uniform, hanging onto me. He whispered. I violently pulled my leg back and yelled to my colleagues to get out of there. I passed the mortuary and saw the bodies rising from their tables, the
Excuse
physician
me?
being dismembered by them. From the patient's room, I heard screaming. I was cursed to the sea. Now to it I will bind thee. The staircase was filled with bodies, some crawling up, others collapsing from above. I worked my way through the guts and twitching human remains up to the first floor, looking for the exit. The concrete halls turned to madness. Patients eating their own flesh, soldiers pushing their blades upon themselves. I slipped on a pool of blood and fell on my back. At that moment, a soldier crawled on top of me. Holding his severed arm, he whispered. While I was being dragged by other deranged soldiers, I saw the exit moving further away. I felt
Oh, you're
helpless.
lost.
The dead grabbing my limbs, holding me down. Their blood fell on my face, and I could smell the burned charcoal, the vile metal taste on the tip of my tongue.
It's at this point you know you're truly boned. You know for a fact you're never, ever, ever getting out of this situation, because how do you beat this? Like, this is when the Eldritch Horror truly sets in. The dead are rising. A eldritch abomination is trying to return you to the sea. This, I feel so bad for this person. Like, this is why you leave crap alone. You leave crap alone. All they had to do was realize this is probably not somebody we need to be mucking with, and just leave it alone. Like, ugh. I feel like it's not that hard. Just leave it alone.
In all this madness, I saw the man from the sea, standing on the other side of the corridor. His head unfolded into countless moving appendages. At that instant, the dead let me go, and one by one, they disappeared behind our patient. Everything was swallowed into his darkness. His gaze pierced 1,000 hauntings and shined upon me.
Why am I
looked me
getting
in the eye,
Hastur
and I
vibes?
could hear his voice, clear inside my head. For a moment, my mind escaped that place. It saw indescribable entities, light trapped in an infinite space, the dread of being lost, forgotten. I came to my senses, turned around and ran as fast as I could. The warm breeze hit my face as I climbed the top of the south tower. My mind was still hanging to the mesmerizing gaze, and I felt my spirit left behind in that corridor.
Oh, buddy.
The stranger made his way back to the beach. Following his steps were the resurrected corpses of our soldiers, all quietly moving behind him, with their faces trapped towards the horizon, their punished bodies still being dragged to obey another king, not
Another
letting them
king.
to rest. While their bones are yet to be dust, they must still serve. Even in death, one must fear. Standing on top of the tower, I saw the waters pulling back violently. Gargantuan creatures began revealing themselves. Pushing out of the waves were indescribable blobs of flesh, lidless eyes, feathered serpents, abominations of proportions that I've never seen, nor could comprehend. Greeted the man from the sea. They welcomed our patient with chants and screams, their twisted motion moving the waters further and further away from the shore. Their screams were slowly coming down to a screech, accompanied by rhythmic hums. A foul metallic stench filled the air.
Yeah, this is just straight up King in Yellow bull, isn't it? Like, it's... There's components of many, many different stories here, but I don't know why. Maybe I'm losing it. Maybe I'm just wrong, but, like, I'm getting such strong Hastur vibes from this. The sea creatures, like, coming up, Okay, we're almost done. We need to get this one finished, but, like, holy crap.
The man from the sea stood upon the shore, surrounded by the hushed hummings of his awaiting followers. Did he summon them from their slumber, or were they just inviting him back into the abyss? What he said to me, I cannot voice. Death as we know it is merciful, for we do not know when we shall meet. But from deep beneath, it found a voice in this ungodly creature, banished it in its iron prison, only for us fools to set it free. It could have circled the oceans and disappeared back into the unknown, and by chance it found us, a speck of dust in this infinite sea.
You leave things alone. Oh, that was so good. That was so good. I liked that a lot. Okay, we're going to have to do a lot more of those. Oh, my goodness me. I don't know what to say to that. I absolutely loved every single second of it. I just cannot think of anything else to say other than that. Just like, it was brilliant. It truly, truly was brilliant. I'm doing more of these. I cannot wait. I'm gonna struggle to find one that was that good, to be quite honest with you. Okay, we're gonna call this one here. If you liked it and you want to see more of this, definitely leave a subscribe, leave a comment, recommend me stories like this, because I want to do more of these. I really am enjoying reacting to these. It's given me an excuse to actually watch them. I've been putting off watching these kind of things for so long, just because, like, it didn't feel like I had the time. But now that it's actually part of my content, I'm actually getting to enjoy them. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you next time.